friends. This is Luna Aura, and this is a Sex Priestess guide to supporting the rising of kings, earthly kings, in this crucial time of awakening. So the tides of consciousness are shifting, and the divine masculine is rising as well, following the divine feminine. I feel it in the sacred fires of ritual, in the eyes of the men who come seeking, in the whispers of spirit that flow through the ether. We stand at the threshold of a great awakening, a time when men are beginning to reclaim their sacred role as protectors, lovers, and conscious warriors. The slumbering lion stirs. The king remembers his throne, and we as women hold the sacred keys to help unlock his ascension. So what are the signs that the divine masculine is, in fact, awakening at this time? The call to sacred purpose. More men are feeling an internal pull to step into purpose beyond material success. They are questioning old paradigms of domination and control, realizing the true power comes from alignment with spirit, integrity, and service, especially that to the divine feminine. Number 2 is emotional presence and vulnerability. Men once taught to suppress their emotions are now learning to feel fully. It is really difficult for men to do. It is excruciating for them. The awakened masculine no longer sees vulnerability as weakness, but as strength, as an initiation into deeper love and connection with himself, with Source itself, and with his divine counterpart, especially with women. Number 3 is reverence for the feminine. So the man who awakens no longer seeks to conquer the feminine, but to honor her. Deep honor. He recognizes that in worshiping the goddess, he does not diminish, but expands himself into his full potential as well. Number 4 is sacred sexuality. A growing number of men are rejecting the distortions of modern sexuality. Mindless pleasure, conquest, and escapism, like we have in porn and this really fast-paced of Tinder world. And instead, they're seeking the alchemy of sex magic, of the sacred union, the practice of conscious union, and the power of channeling sexual energy for transformation and for bettering themselves and the world. They don't feel the need to go and fill some hole in their shadow or ego with another sexual conquest, but instead, they go within. They use this feminine force within themselves, going within and becoming a better versions of themselves. Number 5 is brotherhood over competition. Now, the divine masculine no longer thrives on tearing other men down. Instead, he gathers in circles, in warrior lodges, in spaces where men can hold each other accountable, grow, and rise together. He doesn't seek men who dishonor women or disrespect women. He seeks men who are going to hold his shadow and his ego and his bullshit accountable and help him become a better version of himself. Take full ownership and responsibility for all that he is creating in his life and all the pain that he has caused as well in other people's lives, especially in the lives of the women around him. Number 6 is spiritual leadership. The rising king is no longer satisfied with empty dogma or blind obedience. He seeks the ancient wisdom, the lost right, the truth hidden in the esoteric texts and the whispers of the ancestors. He is truly an honorable man, honoring his spirit and the spirit of his ancestors. Number 7 is protection of the sacred. Whether through fatherhood, community leadership, activism, or energetic guardianship, the awakened masculine man is stepping forward to protect the innocent, the land, the animals, the children, and the sacred mysteries of existence. Now I want to talk about how us women can support the awakening of the divine masculine in men, in our brothers, in our kings. As a sex priestess, mystics, healers, and sovereign women, we are not just witnesses to this awakening of the divine masculine. We are midwiving this sacred birth, and this is how we can help. Number 1, hold him in his becoming. The masculine is learning a new way of being, a whole new program. He is unlearning centuries of conditioning that hold him to disconnect from his heart. We must hold space for him to stumble and rise without judgment, seeing his highest self beyond the wounds. Of course, this does not mean we are doormats. This does not mean that we allow any disrespect or dishonor. We must have clear boundaries, because these clear boundaries are also going to remind him of his greatness. But we still must constantly, even when he's showing us his shadow and his pain and his cruelty even, we must hold the vision of his highest version. Number 2, reflect his power back to him. The world has shamed men for their power, leading them to either suppress it or abuse it. As women, we hold a gift of reflection. When we honor the healthy, noble aspects of his strength, we remind him of who he really is. So every time you see even a glimpse of his light, show him, tell him, honor it, appreciate it. Number 3, initiate him into sacred sexuality. A man who has never been touched as a god does not know he is divine. In our lovemaking, in our rituals, we can guide him into the depth of presence, breath, and devotion, teaching him that sex is not just an act, but a portal to transcendence. This is something I teach women in my Sex Priestess program and initiation, and as well, I teach and guide couples in my private ceremonies and sex magic retreats. So you can go to my website if you are feeling the call to really rise up in your sexuality. Now, number 4 is demand his kingship. A woman who knows her worth will not settle for a man still lost in his boyhood. We must set the standard high, not from a place of control or ego, but from love. To awaken the king, we must embody the queen, and the queen has very strong boundaries. Now, number 5 is invite him into ritual and spirituality, even in small ways. Now, many men are seeking the sacred, but do not know where to look, and they don't even know how it looks. So invite him to your altar, to the fire, to the old ways. Guide him into breath work, into even blessing your water and food before you eat it, into some sacred dance, plant medicine, and the teaching of the ancient. Number 6 is embody the divine feminine. And this is really the most important one. The divine feminine in her fullness awakens the masculine in his fullness. It's not always possible if the masculine's shadows are too deep, but even if we do not change or shift or are able to heal his shadows, which is not really our job to heal him, but we can always inspire. We can always remind him and plant some seed of sacredness, of reminding him that he is a king underneath all the shadow, just by embodying our own power. When we are radiant, wild, intuitive, and surrendered, we create the polarity that calls him into his greatest self. Again, this does not mean we accept dishonor. This is a new era of union. We are entering a time of sacred balance where the masculine and feminine no longer fight for dominance, but dance in divine harmony together. As a sex priestess, we, as wise women, as witches, as sacred lovers, we are a part of this great unfolding, and we in fact are leading the way. To the men who are waking up, we see you. We honor you deeply, and we welcome you home. To the women who walk this path, I honor you. I thank you. Please trust the process. Stand in your magic. The world is shifting, and we are here to help birth the new earth of the mother. Rise, kings. Rise, queens. The age of sacred union is here. Please subscribe, like, and share so I can continue making these videos and share the work of the temple. And may the goddess bless you all.